Why am I nervous now? Because you made it such a big thing.
Yeah. You've already made like 800 YouTube videos on your channel.
I know, but like that's generally I forget that I'm recording. Now there's like 3 other people. I feel like I've got an audience.
You're not recording. You're just performing to us. It's fine.
I got to warm up for this now. Hang on, stretch.
Do your
stretch.
vocal warm-ups.
More.
I'm Dan, co-founder of HH Gaming and Fateless. Before I started those 2 companies, I guess my background was very much in digital marketing. I started building websites when I was about 11. Most of you guys have heard all this, so I'm just going to kind of spill it off. Started building websites when I was 11, did that all the way through up until I went to college. At college, I studied IT, also did some film and media stuff. Came out of that and went to work for multiple different companies, ended up working for a company called Squarebird, which is a web development agency where I headed up their marketing team before meeting Simon, or Hell Hades, back at the start of COVID lockdown when we founded HH Gaming. In the first year of establishing that company with him, we grew that to being the fastest growing gaming company, or gaming brand, in the entire world. That website now averages around 10 million page views per month. Off the back of that, we founded Fateless, which is a game development studio. And more so recently, I started MinMaxed, which is a studio designed to help content creators work with them to boost their social media presence, which brought kind of the 4 of us here together. I'll hand over to Paul, and he can give a bit of an intro into how he fit into the mix here.
Hello, I'm Paul, also known as Saphira, also known as other names, also known as the chief Lord of the Rings nerd here. You know, Tolkien. That is what I do.
Although, I think you've been rivaled after we saw this guy on
yes, there is
Instagram.
A guy who we can't quite work out, is he an airplane specialist or is he simply just trying to use airplane to introduce like everyone to Lord of the Rings, because he's one or the other. Like halfway through the middle of the explanation why something is not as bad as it seems on the aircraft that's falling apart, which for you, Dan, is probably terrifying because any video about the plane falling apart doesn't do you any good.
Don't like flying. I don't like flying Tolkien sat next to you. Let's get this straight. Flying's okay. Flying with you is not okay.
Just observant, you know. I always see all the problems with the plane. Just letting you know.
Yeah, and just announcing it to everybody is the other thing.
Well, the wing was flapping. I don't want to sit next to you ever. I'll sit next to you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you.
It's fine.
I like to know what's going on.
Me and Chloe will
sit I would sit
away from everyone else, and
yeah, to me it's fine. It's like as long as I know the wing's flapping, I might die. It's not a problem. If I die and then I didn't know, I'd be pretty disappointed, right? But that's a tale for another time, for another episode. My background is kind of just like I kind of become a tech guy, learning, self-employed, you know, kind of like self-learning, and then you convinced me, Dan, to become a YouTuber somehow. And that was my first foray into like becoming actually involved in social media rather than just being one of those people that lurk on the internet and see what everyone else is up to. Now I just kind of like observe all the craziness that goes on in the internet world, and on Quest for Clicks, we're going to explore that crazy world of content creation and social media, especially like from my side, because obviously I'm doing content creation and stuff like that. It's a new experience, and I always feel like I'm behind. So if you feel like you're behind, this is a great podcast for you.
Hand the mic over to somebody else. Who are you going to pick?
Oh, well, who gets the next in line? Is it going to be
the cat? Apparently,
the cat. Yeah, this is what happens. Everyone will notice the cat makes an appearance on podcasts for me for some reason. It's really unhelpful at the most times. I think Molly, introduce yourself.
The pressure is on.
So, I am Molly,
and I'm an alcoholic,
and I am a recovering alcoholic. No.
She went there.
I am a team coordinator at HH Gaming and in business development at Fateless. So before that, I pretty much dedicated my whole life to sport. Woohoo! I competed at an international level in rowing. So I've got a few medals to my name.
And now you hang around with a bunch of nerds.
I do. It's much more fun, if I'm honest. After battering my body in the gym for over a decade, screen life is treating me well.
Screen
Just
life.
Screen life.
enjoying the laziness.
Yeah. So
Embrace it.
yeah, I'm managing teams and organizing Dan's life.
Yep.
It's
and
hard, isn't it?
trying to-
This is-
Make communities. Good communities.
We love community.
Yeah. This is very much out of my depth. I am very uncomfortable right now.
It's
So,
cool though. Is this the first time that you've been on any kind of
Yeah.
podcast or
it
video
is.
or anything like
It's
that?
your first
Yeah.
foray
Should I
into
see what my
content
heart rate
creation.
is? Okay,
Is this
wait, we're
something we
measuring.
want to do in
Content.
Paul's videos? Is game like a heart rate monitor?
We
You
definitely
you want to
should.
put me on the lie detector test, don't you?
Oh,
That's what you are.
Guess what my heart
rate
rate is right now?
Go on,
Bearing
say.
in mind, I literally I ran 20k yesterday for fun.
Oh yeah, go
80K.
on.
Like
Just for fun,
I'm
yeah.
healthy. I'm a healthy person. Guess what my heart rate is?
Well, that's not
Sitting
healthy.
Static right now.
Go on, say.
102.
Mine's 102. What? I think
Not
you
too
need
bad.
to chill.
Anxiety is fueling.
Could we just clarify that
Mine's
20k for fun is
76.
not healthy? That's
Yeah,
unhealthy.
my knees kind of hurt today.
I was going to say, like, 20k for fun is not a classification I would apply to healthy.
I
Yo,
mean, we
mine's
do Tough
58.
Mudder for fun.
What else are you gonna do on a Sunday?
Yours is 58.
I think I'm asleep right now. Mine's
Yeah,
58.
58. That's
You sure
what.
your heart's even working?
That's like
Do you want to just double
nearly
check?
an athlete. Like, what's going
Yeah.
on?
I'm the most unhealthiest person here as well.
I'm at
Put
82.
that out there.
Yeah.
I'm rocking an 82 right now.
We'll check in with me each week and
Yeah.
see how I'm
Just-
improving.
we'll
but yeah,
have a little
right now
segment.
we're in the hundreds. So
We'll have the
Damn.
let's
MRH
move on to
section.
Chloe.
the Molly heart rate section.
Chloe's turn.
Little old me. I don't know. Did everyone say hi? I'm such and such. No, I'm Chloe. There you go. I have been chronically online my entire life. Very much so. But I have a background in pretty much everything creative, from photography, videography, music. I studied musical theatre. I did some professional theatre for a while, and then
I didn't know that.
Give us a song.
No.
Yeah, give us a song.
Yeah, maybe on like episode 100, right?
Yeah, Paul's already done it in the warm up. Come on.
Yeah. We'll save that. Maybe we'll do an alcohol fueled episode, and then I'll
Yeah.
sing for you guys.
Christmas special.
Yeah, there we go. I've got some Christmas music. But yeah, I built up my own sort of social media career from owning my own business in lockdown. I fell in love with social media marketing, and I was like, right, this is what I'm gonna do. Start at the bottom in customer service, and then built my way up. And now I am the
Started
head
from
of
the bottom. Now I'm here.
Yeah. And now I'm head of social media, and it's fun.
Yeah?
It's my life.
It's my life.
It's my life. It's now
We just changed this into a
never.
singing podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see how quickly we can get a copyright strike.
First episode.
It might detect it. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make sure it's like copyright-free music we sing. Yeah,
If
That
my
you
singing
play the
gets
song.
copyrighted, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
that's true. That is a good compliment that you get DMCA'd from your own singer. That's
Yeah.
I take that.
I mean, it
That's
says a
win.
lot about the algorithm.
Wait, I missed
Speaking
a part.
of,
Oh, you
That's
missed a
okay.
part? Oh no, go back.
I wanted to tell everybody how I went viral on TikTok.
oh, we need to hear this.
Oh,
We need to hear
Chloe,
this.
tell us how you went viral on TikTok.
Wait,
Sure,
did you guys know that Chloe went viral on TikTok?
I always drop it in. Like, it was one of my first posts on LinkedIn was like, did you know I have over 10 million views on TikTok? It's now over 15 million. I'll have you know.
So it's
but-
still going viral on TikTok.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome. Probably seen me trying to sell cleaning products.
Okay, tell us the story. How did you go viral?
In my old job, I was a community manager, and I was passionate about making videos in my spare time, and my work found out, and they were like, make a video for us. So my literal first video I ever made, sat in front of my phone, showed off the products. It was like a 15 to 20 second video. Posted it, and literally there was nothing behind it, and it went viral. So
It just
Yeah.
blew up.
it just blew up. Yeah.
I love
So I
cleaning
saw a
products.
quote. Actually, it may be one that we put together for the social media, which was, it's like behind every viral video is a marketing team not really knowing what it did to actually go viral.
Yeah.
What would you attribute the success of that video to?
Not doing my hair. I wish I'd done my hair better for that video had I known it was going to go viral.
Yeah.
Like, I've
What
got
was the
dog hairs.
product?
They did, like, I don't want to endorse them now, but they did like free trials of their cleaning products, and it was like postal service to you. And it was like around the basis of being eco-friendly. So
Okay, so I mean, do you think that potentially it could have been successful because you hadn't done your hair and makeup and stuff like that, and you just looked more relatable
yeah,
to like an
probably.
average like mum who may be interested in
Mum.
what, a stay-at-home mum?
Wow.
Wow.
Relatable.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Well,
So Chloe looks
we-
like a relatable middle-aged woman.
No.
Wow. You're getting ganged up on here. I
We-
would get out quick.
Is that what you're saying?
we did just discuss that I would rather pay 30 grand for Elon Musk to give me a robot to clean than do it myself. So, yeah.
That's a little bit gender neutral, that statement. The last statement was not gender neutral. You're digging yourself a hole here.
I think I'm okay. I
Okay.
dodged it.
You dodged
Saved.
it.
It's fine. We'll
Dodged it.
avoid it for now. So moving swiftly on.
Should we talk about Elon? Elon's a very important character these days for social media,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
You know,
And actually,
What-
there was something on the subjects that I was going to bring up later on. But I mean, we can talk about Elon first. But later on, one thing that I'd like to discuss, I don't know if you guys have seen, Elon's attempt at changing, or X's attempt at changing the way that they're monetizing partnerships on Twitter/X, which I think is crazy. But so if you don't know, what's going around at the moment is a change in the terms of service on Twitter and X, in terms of how their partnership program works. So for the past year to 2 years or so, they've been giving revenue share to people who have a big following on there, because obviously these platforms, they make lots of money from advertising. However, they're adjusting that model to being based purely on users who are subscribed to their premium membership, and no longer basing it on ad revenue just of your general reach and outlook, which is obviously pushing the narrative that the only
they've
people
changed it.
the only people actually worth anything on X or Twitter are people who are paying for that check mark.
because when he took over X, I can't call it X. I'm going to call it Twitter. I don't care.
It
okay?
is Twitter.
It's
You can
Twitter.
call it
Yeah.
like the man has got a weird obsession with X, and it's confused. It's the worst letter you could have an obsession with, because it does make you suspiciously bad with X.
Well, you
Like,
say
there's-
that, but that was the original foundation to PayPal, wasn't it? Because
That's what I'm saying.
Him and his,
His
brother
entire life.
invented PayPal.
His son is called X. Originally PayPal was called X. This is called S space X. I'm like, the dude needs to realize there's like 25 other letters in the alphabet, or however many there are. I probably got that wrong. But, you know, like, can we just not have a Y.com or a Z.com? Like, we could change it up a
They
little
would take 'em.
Anyway. Rant over.
Yeah. They were already taken.
When he took over, obviously one of the things he instantly tried to do was make money, because it wasn't making money.
Well, he
Like I
spent
said,
a lot of money buying it, so I'm not surprised that
Well,
the first thing that he wanted to do was make some back.
He didn't. Let's face it. The oil baron spent a lot of money buying it, because a lot of the money came from certain countries. But obviously, when he took over, he instantly fired half the people, and then put in this like monetization thing to try and get creators on his platform. I know he did a big thing with Mr. Beast, trying to get Mr. Beast to put his videos on Twitter. But I always thought the revenue was based on impressions and views.
And it
But
has
now,
been. It has been up
They're
until
changing it nowadays. What are you saying?
it's changing right now into that it's going to be based on your engagement still, but from premium members, not
So
from.
you have to pay him to get paid.
Yep.
Stupid.
Well, that's
You know he has
interesting.
12 kids.
He does, because that's another topic. But
I thought he
believes
only had
the-
one with the
He's-
crazy name.
He has
He
12.
had two. Yeah, he
What a
believes
legend.
he believes the planet. He believes population is dying because we're not having enough children. So he's taken it upon himself to repopulate the Earth.
Oh my god, some of their names are insane.
Go on, try and say one.
Exa, Dark, Sidereal.
I think they all come
Musk.
with a QR code, right?
Yeah.
They do.
Just scan them.
Which child is this one? Oh, you're
Yeah.
the 8th one. Okay, move along.
I mean, that's cool though.
Yeah. Well, you said two children
Saxon.
with Grimes, and that's an odd pairing. But
He's a strange looking bloke. Like, who's sleeping with him?
Oh, this one's got his name's like a chemical
Wow.
element.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Poor guy.
Harsh. We're getting very personal here.
Sorry. He's not
So-
for me. I'll
But
dodge the most.
I do find it interesting how he's trying to, obviously what he's trying to do is establish a good monthly recurring revenue for Twitter, right? That's effectively what he's trying to do, because what happens when you go onto a platform and you remove moderation and you tell advertisers you don't care if they don't like it, they're not going to spend their money on your platform. So he's clearly trying to monetize. Now, I've seen a lot of different creators go on there and say, oh, I've got loads and loads of money, but then actually when you contextualize it against what they could get on other platforms, it's
Well,
nowhere
you
near like Mr.
say
Beast said that.
But I've seen some checks that people have posted on their thing for the shared platform, and they're making like 10K a month, which is actually insane. Obviously, the engagement needs to be there to match it, but it kind of pulls into this culture of, because I don't know if you're aware of how people are basically getting that engagement, and it's basically from going to big creators who are already getting a massive amount of followers and a massive amount of replies and engaging with their posts, which is interesting in a way because it encourages engagement on the platform. However, it's almost like false engagement, because if you've got a check mark, then you get boosted to the top of comments. So it's encouraging people to go on to, say, a massive creator, every time that they post, have an alert on your phone, immediately reply just with something. It doesn't need to be anything substantial or actually engaging with it. It's just so that there's more eyes on your post. And that's kind of how they're inflating their numbers. And I think that's probably what they're doing to try and tackle that. But the actual end result, I think, will drive people away from making use of that platform, because if the general user who doesn't pay for the check mark is now effectively worthless in terms of how Twitter
algorithm-
or X is perceiving it, it's not great.
Twitter's been bound to die for years before it came X, right? I mean, it did die.
Yeah.
It's in its afterlife currently. It's sort of been revived with this whole being paid sort of situation.
Well, it's a weird situation. Like, Twitter has now become so his original goal kind of makes sense when he bought it. His opinion was Twitter had become almost like a moderated or like a curated social media platform. So you only got what the owners thought you wanted to see, and he felt like the algorithm is very biased towards certain aspects, because social media naturally has become very political, just generally across the spectrum. Even we're starting to see it now with platforms like Twitch and Kick.com are becoming heavily politicized against an American election backdrop, where you've got Kamala Harris trying to get on I think she was on the podcast. Was it the Who's Daddy's podcast or something? Yeah. So what you're seeing is these politicians now in trying to engage young people through social media, with AOC doing that back a couple of years ago, doing the Twitch stream with a bunch of the guys for what was the game that everyone's playing during lockdown?
Fortnite.
I don't know.
Among Us.
Among Us, yeah.
Among Us,
AOC doing Among Us to basically promote politics. So what we're seeing is this like move towards social media and these content creation platforms becoming heavily politicized, which is what Twitter was becoming. So he bought it because what he was like, I wanted open. He called it basically a town square for everyone to say whatever they want. Doesn't really work, in my opinion, because you still need to like stop the crazy man on the street corner kind of yelling the world's coming to an end, right? You got to have some form of like sensibility in there.
But he's a louder voice now, so he can shout as loud as he wants. And the best part is how it was is people can make a lot of money doing it at the same time. So it almost incentivizes radicalism on social media, because that gets engagement.
Well, that's
But
funny.
I feel like
Americans can write more on Twitter, right? So something I noticed is with Fateless, I can do like 2,000 characters because it's a US company. We signed up for the US.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, but on HH Gaming, I can do, I think it's 300, 500 characters. So we are limited.
You got to pay for it.
Well, no, not necessarily. Just being a US company, I'm pretty sure you get more characters.
But
really,
Fateless is a UK company.
But I think whoever made the profile, it must.
I made it.
You made it. So why does it come up as a
if you want more, you have to pay for it,
know.
right? That's the thing with Twitter now. If you want to be on Twitter, you have to pay for it. Simple as. If you want any sort of exposure, because like Dan said, like he basically put a system in place where if you don't have the check mark, you don't get any form of algorithm priority, which means that if you want to get that engagement, that viewership, which obviously a lot of people use Twitter to promote secondary platforms, which he's not a fan of, but that's essentially what people do. You need the blue check mark. It's like if you're a public profile, personality, anything like that, and you really find value in Twitter, you absolutely have to pay for it. That's where you get all the extra characters and lots of different things. Although, to be honest, I never really understood the point of that, because the goal of Twitter was like short form content.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, I hate the posts where it's like a thread and I'm like, oh, here we go, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Speaking of short form content and my incessant addiction to doom scrolling, have you seen that YouTube has increased their time limit on shorts to 3 minutes?
Yeah, which is interesting because TikTok did a similar thing of like they extended it to 10 minutes, and that like they tried to push people who were doing the 10-minute videos. That flopped. That really flopped. So it's interesting to see that YouTube have followed the same sort of thing. It's nice for us. It means we get to put more into our content, but whether people are gonna sit there and see this stuff and watch this stuff when they could just go and watch a normal YouTube video that's longer.
Which is weird. You're talking about platforms that were going to die. TikTok's a bizarre thing to me. And the reason why I say it's bizarre, there used to be, for us slightly older people over here who are in their 30s.
I feel like there's an age gap going on here. Cause...
Not so much of an age, but...
Wait, it depends what you're going to say. What are you saying?
There was a generation that grew up as the first content creators before YouTubers were kind of a big thing, was Vine.
Yeah, we were around for Vine. We knew Vine.
Well, it was
we're
kind
not
of like
that
towards
much
the
younger.
end of... It was like, it died towards the end of, like, when I was about, what was it, 21? Something like that? So about 10 years ago, Vine
here's
died.
a question on that, though.
7 seconds.
Are you old enough to remember what X-Fire is?
No.
No, you're too old.
I think my
Even I don't
first
know
one
that.
was MySpace.
Good old MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So X-Fire is basically the predecessor to Twitch.
You remember Bebo?
Oh,
I don't think I ever had
Bebo.
Bebo.
You know
Those are
Bebo?
the days. Those are the days.
And Bebo.
When there was like just like random places where you could like unleash your
Tumblr.
child, your teenage years, you know.
We're forgetting about the most important one, Club Penguin. You guys remember Club Penguin? No.
Yeah.
What?
I knew people who played it, but I absolutely didn't. So
Oh my
didn't.
god.
No.
If we'd meet
My
your
thing
friends.
is Tumblr, those are the days.
for me, when I grew up, I got into the internet young. As I said, I've been building websites since I was 11, so and that was a while ago.
How long?
Back, I couldn't even tell you when.
It's like
when,
Stone Age,
when was I
basically,
11?
you know? Like 2,000 years ago. He shook
Was it
hands
before
with
the change of the millennium?
yeah,
No,
he shook hands with Tutankhamun.
No, it was like
Did a little
1999.
Egyptian dance.
Yeah, so it was before the change of the millennium.
Wow.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whoa.
yeah. So to get online, because we didn't have internet at home.
We had dial-up.
Dial-up internet, but we didn't have dial-up. So what would happen is AOL used to send you through these 30-day trial packs, and what you could do is you could install it onto your computer and use the internet for 30 days on trial, and then uninstall it, completely wipe your hard drive, because that thing was like worse than trying to remove Norton from your computer.
Oh God.
God.
No.
And
horrible.
then completely reset your computer from scratch, and then install another one the month later. And the way that I used to have to do it was to run a cable from downstairs in my house about 12 meters upstairs to my room, plug it into the computer. But the problem is, every time that you used it, because it used the phone line, nobody could use the phone in the house.
Yep.
And that was back when nobody had mobile phones, because mobile phones weren't even a thing back then. So it basically cut off any communication to your household just for being online.
Wow.
Yeah, like
So
I
it's
would
segregated,
basically
yeah.
wait until my parents had gone to bed, and then just run this cable up to a computer and then get online that way.
Do you
So
remember LAN parties. Do you remember? Oh my god.
Absolutely.
That's
I've
what I
I've
grew
one
up
of the
with.
best LAN parties ever on the release of World of Warcraft, which was in 2004, I think. And my friend Pete. So again, this shows my age, because how old were you guys in 2004?
7, 8.
That's depressing. That's so depressing. How old were you? You guys are the same age, aren't you?
Well, you
See the
97,
maths
Chloe.
going on.
96.
Oh, you're older than me.
Rude.
You're older than me.
Child.
So
Respect your
I was probably
elders.
like 6.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
was the
that's
year again?
scary.
2004.
2004.
Well, it's simple. If I just minus 20 off my current age, I would have been 12, 13. I don't know. It all kind of blends together, really.
So, for the release of World of Warcraft, one of my friend's parents had gone away on holiday, and he had the house to himself. And for the entire week, we had, I think there must have been about 9 of us in total. There was like 2 PCs set up in the living room. There was all around the dining table in his dining room. There was probably 5 computers in there. Then he had his computer upstairs in his room. We had one set up in the kitchen, and it was like the entire house was a LAN party for the release of World of Warcraft, and we had 2 groups playing together basically and leveling together. Yeah, it was
Wow.
super
That's
nerdy. I'm sorry.
nostalgic. No, I love that. That's cool.
But yeah,
I didn't. Yeah, I was too young for that.
Yeah,
old man.
it's true. It's true,
know.
but yeah,
But speaking of
it
things
led
that are
me to
old-
this. So I think it goes back to what Chloe said about being chronically online, because it's not like I didn't go out and do things, but I was just so immersed within the online culture that a lot of this stuff just became like normal to me.
Yes,
I
like,
think
I think that's true. Like, you just basically, for us, because we grew up in the rise of technology, effectively, you just kind of like, it doesn't feel weird. But then I guess people who are like 10 years older than us, like, who didn't grow up in that, would see it's like, well, you're on the PC all the time. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't really, like, we're not like unsocial because of it.
I think it also depended on like your family's like income as well, like your class, because my partner grew up in a very different household than I did, and I think he spent a lot more time outside than I did, and I was very lucky to have these things. But then I ended up going to a grammar school on scholarship, and then I saw a
Let's
difference.
go.
Yeah, right. And then I saw a difference between me and people who had actual money. Like,
Yeah.
I was there with like my flip up Samsung phone, and they were there with like the first generation iPhone. It was
Yep.
mad at like 11 years old. So it's very, very different. It depended who you were growing up around, if you had the money to grow up around these things.
See, I think I was probably part of the last generation that didn't grow up with mobile phones and social media during their teenage years. Because, I mean, if we did, I mean, I think I'd probably be in prison, because some of the shit that we used to get up to, if somebody had a camera phone back then, I mean, no thank you. I mean, we've got like, so the way that we have memories is people used to come out on the Friday night and Saturday night with the disposable cameras, and you'd take selfies with them and
little,
stuff like
They're
that.
Kodak.
trendy now. That's
Yeah.
trend to have those.
Yeah, that's retro, right? That's me, apparently.
The
It's
little,
just
the little
retro.
Kodak, or the what was the ones where you actually had to wait for it to print the little picture out and then you had to shake
Oh,
it?
Polaroids. That's
Polaroids.
sick.
Polaroid.
They're
Yeah.
trendy too.
Fun.
Yeah.
You pay
Everyone
like
just
a
likes old
ridiculous
shit.
amount for those. Do you remember the ones that used to have to like actually like shot? Do you like the shutting yourself?
I'm not that old. Jesus
Oh.
Christ. You mean the ones where you
Okay.
light the magnesium?
Yeah. Like the little box.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you used to get an easel and a paintbrush?
Yeah. Getting the tablets, wax tablets out, and back when you were at school, did you just have an abacus? Like, I'm not that old. Come on. Like,
I
getting
feel like,
fucking
though,
bullied here.
is Tumblr still alive as a platform?
Is what?
can't-
Yes, I had to delete
Is
my
it?
profile before I started
it?
this job because all of the fan fiction I wrote was still there, and people
Oh, wait,
still
what,
use
fan
it.
fiction?
Oh my god.
Why would you
Well, why have I
delete
not
it?
heard about this? This is bad. Why
I
would
was
you delete
really
that?
into James Phelps, I'm still into him, who plays Fred Weasley in Harry Potter, one of the twins, and I wrote some, like I
What
was
kind
young.
of
Do you
fan
still have
fiction
it?
are we talking about here?
We're talking like 50 Shades of Harry Potter, yeah.
Oh my.
Oh yeah,
I need
I
a
not-
reading. I need a reading.
Episode
such a-
2,
I
we're going to have a
some
recital.
printed out. I have some printed out somewhere, so I could really put myself in the dirt and read some.
Well,
Can
we are
you,
going to
please?
London in a couple of weeks.
No.
Bring
I
some
mean
reading
next
material.
episode of the podcast.
We'll start with a reading. Chapter
Yes.
1.
yeah.
This is
I
the
think I called
recital.
one, my redheaded prince.
That's so
Okay.
cute.
Cute.
Love it.
I've got his wand on display behind me. Okay.
Wow,
Anyway,
there's so many meanings to this.
I'm
This is
28
becoming
in a week. Leave me alone.
This is a PG-13 podcast.
Speaking of-
so-
It's your birthday next week, and we're going to
Yeah.
go to London to celebrate. Molly, what are we going to be doing in London? What exciting activities have you planned?
Well,
Nothing.
So well,
Actually,
funny
yeah,
you say
do
that.
this today. No, Chloe requested the Hard Rock Cafe.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice.
I've never been to a Hard Rock Cafe.
It's not
Is,
very
is that the
ID.
one? Is that the one in Mayfair?
It's not the one I made. I
He's
don't know.
changed.
There's
No,
like
it's
That's
becoming a
cute.
I think it
robot.
is.
There's
I
two.
think it is
There's
the one in
in
Mayfair, right?
There's one in Oxford Road and there's one in Covent Garden, right?
Covent
I
Garden.
used to work at Hard Rock Cafe.
Covent
so
Garden.
We'll go to the one in Covent Garden.
nice.
Yeah.
Covent Garden's nice, yeah.
I love
like
Covent
Covent
Garden. Yeah.
One of
never
my
been to Hard Rock.
friends
We
is a chef at the one in Amsterdam. He loves it.
Oh, awesome. I was a server there and I got the job because I was telling the guys this the other day. I have a tattoo on my arm that's coordinates, and it's because I love Universal Orlando, but the center of Universal Orlando is Hard Rock Cafe Orlando. So I went into
Awesome.
the job interview and I was like, I really like Hard Rock Cafe. I do have a lot of pins. But I was like, I really like Hard Rock Cafe so much so I've tattooed myself. Got the job. Best
That is an
tips ever.
extreme method.
Yeah, right?
Self-tattooing to get a job is extreme. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you can promote yourself online
It's
as much as
commitment,
you
right,
want and
there.
everything and
Should I
get
get
a
a
good CV.
fateless? Fateless
crazy.
tattoo.
Definitely should not ever
Yeah.
do that.
So I
Unless
got
it's
that.
like
That's how I
maybe
got
a
this job.
small. Yeah. So, Simon's
Right.
actually got the HH Gaming logo on his arm.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Yes.
cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got I think it's like a Zeus type character tattooed on his arm, and he's got a neck chain on, and it's got the Hell Hades logo
Oh, cool.
around its neck. It's very cool. Yeah.
One of
I'll
my
find a
tattoos is
picture.
sideways. I need to get it removed.
Sideways.
They both started a company and they both wanted an arm tattoo, which is kind of very bromance kind of thing. It's very
Oh.
strange.
Well,
It's
we
kinda
needed
cool.
to spend our money on something back then,
Yeah,
So,
we didn't have much to spend money on. So you
yeah,
just
yeah. Like,
spent
but
a lot of
back
time
in the
a
heyday.
tattoo place. Because yours took ages, I think.
Yeah,
didn't
oh,
you
yeah.
said it took like 8 hours plus.
No, my probably took like 8 sessions of 8 hours.
Oh, there we go. And it was.
What have
something
you
like
got?
that.
My entire arm.
It's got like a sleeve.
Oh.
They both have like a sleeve kind of thing,
Right.
which is kind of cool. Don't get me wrong.
My
I would be so.
entire arm.
Yeah, I'm
And
too
then-
indecisive for that. I would be like, do I want it? Do I not? It's so permanent. And I would just like, I'd give up. It'd be like when someone asks me, what do you want for like, I don't know, like from this menu. And I'm like,
Would you do it though? Would
Would
you
I
get
do
a
it?
tattoo?
yeah, but
you
I would.
definitely would.
Tramp
All I have to
stamp,
say is
stamp.
be like,
Can-
you wouldn't.
Can
And
we
he'd be
do
like,
it on a
"Okay."
trip? Just go
Yeah, I
into
would,
a
but
tattoo place.
I need. My problem is not so much the fear of having it or not. Like a lot of people are afraid of having a tattoo because they're pain. That doesn't bother me. It's like mine is. I can't decide what I want, so therefore, whenever I get indecisive, I just decide nothing. That's my default
So
because it's permanent.
my first tattoo I drew when I was with my ex-fiance. I have lots of stories. Ex-fiance, and he wouldn't let me get a tattoo. We broke up, and the first thing I did was get this tattoo. I had
so
drawn it.
rebellious.
I had drawn it at like
Sorry.
18 years old, and I got this tattoo. And how child-friendly is this podcast?
Ex-fiance. This is the
Questionable.
first time you're bringing this up.
I know. Well, I
She was
got
like,
a
yeah, that
Harry
was
Potter-
before the three weddings, and
There's more.
10
There's
kids.
more. The 10 kids, yeah. Yeah, my adopted son, Charles. No, I got this Harry
Charles.
Potter tattoo that was like, had loads of different meanings, but everyone told me that the Elder Wand looks like butt beads.
Oh.
Uh,
I was like,
I mean, that's commitment to the
"Where's
cause,
you
right?
mean?"
So I'm stuck with that, and I've
Don't think
got
I can
the
watch Harry Potter
Avengers
again now.
anniversary tattoo, and I did it rebelliously whilst my mum was on holiday. Next for Spider-Man tattoo. Spider-Man's the right way up. The Avengers tattoo is on its side.
Oh. Were you lying on the wonk when you got it done, or?
I was nervous. I was in a rush. The guy showed me it. It's a squiggle. It's basically a squiggle, this tattoo. So I really was just like, yeah, it looks all right.
I feel like tattoo is not something that you want to do in a rush.
You know.
Yeah.
No.
It's a
But
bit
it costs-
permanent, you know.
It costs even more to get rid of, and I
Yeah.
scar easily. So they're all scarred and bumpy. So even if I get rid of it,
Ugh.
it's still going to be there. Fun.
I did see something on Twitter the other day. Someone was showing how they like remove a blackout sleeve.
Oh, with the laser.
That looks horrific.
Oh,
So
apparently it's like an elastic band hitting
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
apparently it
people
doesn't
like these
hurt as
blackout
much as
sleeves.
you
I don't
think,
really know
but-
why someone wants to tattoo their entire body like black. I don't really know. Like I don't really get it. That's weird. Anyway, someone decided they didn't want it, and he's literally just, and it literally looks like he's like, I don't know. It looks
It's
like
kind
a
of
mummy
satisfying,
thing.
though, right?
No, it looks painful as heck, and it doesn't look clean after they do
You
it.
know
It's-
that
Mm,
next time that you scroll on like TikTok or something, you're gonna get that on one side, and then Subway Surfers will be underneath it, like
Or
going on at the
Minecraft.
same time. yeah, on
Probably.
Minute
Minecraft.
stories.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is with Twitter, because of the way the algorithm is now, you can like almost like force the content you want to see, which is kind of annoying because if
Yeah.
you accidentally click on something, that's all you now get. So I think I accidentally clicked on something once, and now all I keep getting is like everything about Sabrina Carpenter. I'm like, I don't want to see this. I can't get rid
I
of it.
do. I want to see it.
It's like I don't
Yeah.
care about the position she's doing this concert.
Yes,
like
you do.
Yeah.
you know, and
She's
all
so
this.
Yes, you do.
naughty.
Like, you know, yeah, where they're 12-year-olds and fans that are like, you know, yeah,
She's like one of my daughter's favorites at the moment. So my car playlist is basically Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter, or Taylor Swift. That's all we
it's the
listen to.
next
in the car.
generation, isn't it? But yeah,
Oh
it's
no,
like,
I don't mind that
Don
music. I
likes
think
a
it's
bit
good.
of-
Yeah.
well, it feels like every time
Why
I open
not?
Twitter these days, I basically get what is the Sabrina Carpenter's next move when she sings Juno at the concert or something. She's doing something every single day. I don't know, but
He
I
knows
don't
the
remember clicking on
songs.
this.
I was gonna say he's a fanboy. What's going
Yeah.
on?
No, it's like
Um,
Twitter basically, the algorithm will basically recalibrate if you click on something,
Blame
and
the
you
algorithm.
refresh, it will literally then find everything correlated to the last thing you looked at and prioritize the algorithm. It's kind of like, I know we made this algorithm open source, which is kind of a crazy thing to do because generally that means you can abuse it, which is probably what's happening. But I feel like it's too obvious. Whereas when you go on YouTube and stuff like that, the algorithm's a little bit like you
It's a mystery.
get like 6 relevancy, and then there's always like a couple of videos when you look at your homepage that's like separate, that's not necessarily relevant. Like, so for example, if I've clicked on raid videos, I'll get a couple of videos that are specifically raid, then I'll get something that's not the same. So I've been playing Throne and Liberty lately, trying to understand their really crazy gearing system that I don't have any understanding still what it is. So I get a couple of videos, but then there's always others. Where with Twitter, it's literally like, oh, you clicked on a video about Elon Musk's rocket, here you go. And of course, Elon Musk prioritizes his own posts. Let's be honest. Like if he posts anything, it's at the top of
100%. Yeah.
everyone's feed. You know, and his latest one is whenever he sees something about the world coming to an end, it's like, cool, I agree. Or we're all dying, or like, you know, I don't know, he's become like this crazy, I don't know, MAGA cult guy that wants to create the Department of Doge in American governments. I don't really know these things. Like he's it's so like it's amazing.
Wow.
Like, you know, he created the cryptocurrency Dogecoin, right, which is a dog. And I'm waiting for people to realize the only reason why he's allied himself with Trump is because he absolutely wants to create inside American governments the Department of Government Efficiency so he can call himself the king of Doge. That's all he wants to do.
Why not?
He doesn't actually care about government efficiency. It's like he just wants to be able to say, I'm the head of Doge.
I mean,
I'm
if
sure
you
of it.
completed life at this point, like it's just like
Yeah.
might as well
What
do
else can you
something.
do?
Yeah.
Like,
Have
we're
fun.
catching rockets with arms and sending things to Mars. So why not?
Yeah.
Let's just go mess around with the Department of Government Efficiency and probably not make anything efficient because
Yeah, I mean,
this not
he is
these things do.
pretty much the closest thing that we will probably have to a real life Tony Stark at this point. So
Don't
you know,
do my
he's-
man Tony bad like that. What the
I
frick?
mean, I mean,
I feel like he's the
kind of true though, right?
I feel like he's the heir to Steve Jobs, right? Steve Jobs was like kind of not as crazy, but he was a visionary. But he was also had this like mad scientist streak to him, where he would literally go off the handle. He would, if something wasn't exactly how he wanted it to be, had like a way things should be done. And the only reason why Steve Jobs died is because he believed that traditional like medicine was going to cure him until afterwards. And he, even on his deathbed, he kind of admitted that he made a mistake there.
Oops.
Whoops. Like, you should have listened to scientists.
Is Steve Jobs dead?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you
Died like
actually
10
just
years
say
ago.
that?
Why
Wow.
did he
Yeah.
die?
He died of pancreatic cancer.
What is happening? Like,
How do you not know this?
My bro.
Why did no one announce this?
What do you mean?
It was
What
announced.
do you-
Like, what do you mean?
2011.
Yeah, he died in 2011.
Oh.
It was a while ago, guys.
I was
I
in
don't think I
school.
was-
What the frick?
I was really using the internet then.
Oh my God.
I'll let you in on something. Anytime I wear like a high-necked, long-sleeve black top, my partner calls me Steve Jobs.
Yeah. He was an
Really
icon.
into it.
But they were both kind of like, both him and Elon Musk, they're super smart. Like, nobody can deny it. They're very visionary. They can see things ahead of what everyone else needs.
Good.
Like, if you have
Good.
that trait where you can predict or know what people want before they want it, it's very difficult to have that kind of trait. A lot of businesses know what people want right now, but knowing, let's face it, when he brought out Tesla, everyone said it would never work, it would always fail. When he said he was going to make reusable rockets, everyone says it's never going to work, it's never going to fail. Both of them now are highly successful. So he's very visionary, but
That
he
being
does have a
said, they're
streak to
also
him.
marketing geniuses, right? Because him being insane just gets so many eyes on him. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see it at the moment. Like, I don't know if you've, you're online, so I'm sure you have seen it. But KSI's new song, which is just blowing up on the internet right now, with everyone supposedly hating on it. The thing has tens and tens of millions of views now. Those guys are just marketing geniuses. They know how to play the system. They know how to play the game.
Rebecca Black 2.0.
I was just gonna say Rebecca Black. She's
Yeah.
like the original like
She is.
the example
is
of
just
that.
the worst
She did
song,
so
right?
well, but then she came back like 10 years later. It was like, I'm gonna re-release
Yeah.
this song, but in a good way. Now that
She
I can
owns
sing.
it now. Yeah.
Mhm.
She came on like one of those like The Voice type shows in America. They called it The Four or something. It's a bit awkward now
Oh,
because
yeah.
of the whole P. Diddy scandal and all that kind of stuff. And it's a bit awkward. But it was like one of those like shows. She came back on it, and like obviously I think Meghan Trainor was on it, recognized her from that song. So she's gone like kind of legit, but she owns it now. Whereas she got like a lot of hate back in the day, but she made tons and tons of views from it. And I think that's what KSI is doing. It's like Ryan Reynolds. Let's face it, Ryan Reynolds' best trait is he's a phenomenal marketer, and he just basically combines
it's
his
just his
different products to
personality.
basically make lots of money. It's genius. So yeah, Elon, I think, is always going to be like this weird enigma where I think not many people, like some people think he's like the best thing, like the die-hard devotees, and then other people will be just like, what, like X, like what, like what you what, mate? But we have to live in it. That's the awkward part, is that you can't ignore. As much as Twitter is one of those platforms that everyone's like, Twitter's going to die, Twitter's going to fail, it hasn't yet, and it's not going anywhere. So I think if you want to be online, it is technically the best place for news. Like, you see a lot of news people now, a lot of old anchors becoming almost like that's their home, that's their platform. News is getting disseminated much quicker. The only problem is it doesn't get moderated. So like we were watching Hurricane Milton in Florida.
We were.
Hopefully everyone's okay in Milton, like on the serious note. But on a non-serious note, the amount of like videos and stuff people were posting, and then you would check and it's like, oh, actually this is from 2011 or this is from 2009. And the best feature you ever added was community notes, but it takes too long.
On the other end of that, though, during that, people were using TikTok as a way to raise money. So some people were using it for good and raising money to help after the hurricane or during or before. But some people were literally just live streaming the hurricane to get gifts sent to them to earn money and make money off this thing.
It's the world of
because
content.
It's so strange, but like TikTok, if you think about it, like they take so much money off you to like even get, like, I can't remember what the percentage is per amount of views, but it's minuscule. how much money you get off them. These people were getting thousands and thousands of views because everyone wanted to know what was happening in the hurricane. People are attracted to disaster. People like it's why true crime's like such a big thing at the moment. Like people enjoy that kind of thing, and people were just giving away their money to these people, and they've made thousands and thousands of dollars off of it.
Well, that is the problem with short form content, isn't it? Really, it's not really a source of revenue for the average creator. Like that, we've looked at this. I mean, it's great in terms of getting you viewership, but you really want to drive them towards your long form content or your brands or your brand deals. Like you can't. It's just I don't think even with the extra limit on YouTube, you just can't monetize yourself with even like huge amounts of views.
Well, I think it's going to be
TikTok,
interesting to see how the ad revenue works within that, whether they're adjusting it, whether they're putting more ads in to actually make it feasible. But you are right. I think short form content, at least for now, is exceptionally good for growth of a channel. I mean, people joke, at least on TikTok, that the fastest way to never see somebody again is to follow them. And it's because the algorithm just wants you to keep consuming more and more content. And if you follow somebody, rather than feeding you their content, it's going to look for lookalike content and be like, oh, maybe you'll like this person as well and this person as well.
Yeah.
But it's it's interesting. I think the vertical form of content has serious legs with the amount of stuff that's consumed on mobile. Whether short form is the way to do that, or whether they actually expand their channels to have like a vertical section, so specifically for creators who want to create for mobile devices, maybe more efficient than long form content.
Well, aren't they're trialing the vertical lives on YouTube right now, aren't they? I'm pretty sure.
They are. Yeah.
I saw someone doing that the other day, which is interesting because TikTok, it's almost like YouTube are going, TikTok have done this, it's worked for them, let's try it and see how it works for us, because TikTok did the same recently, but they made it so you watch it vertical and it invites you to turn your phone and gives you a different view of like gaming content, for example. So YouTube were like, let's switch it around, let's try and make ourselves a bit like TikTok, and let's have this vertical form so people can just sit there and have it on their phone.
Well, when you're sat at home on your phone, what's your chosen way to consume content? Because mine's vertical.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, vertical.
Vertical.
I mean, depends on the content.
I feel weird, like having my phone like this, like sat watching it.
If it's video content, I'll never watch video content vertical, ever.
I mean,
it's weird.
Like, I like commenting and reading the comments as well. So having it vertical and being able to do that and still see the video is like nice for me.
Well, the exception being Instagram, right? Because Instagram doesn't do anything other than vertical. So if I check some Instagram stories, fine. But like if I'm watching any form of like beyond a minute content,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. If I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm having it.
It's always
turning my phone.
Really?
If I'm just, I don't watch TikTok. Or if I do on TikTok, I don't.
What social media platforms do you consume then, Molly?
The thing is, I'm one of those old people that sees really out-of-date TikToks on Instagram. I like Instagram Reels.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm the one that's seeing it 5 years later. I'm like, oh, this is funny. Sending it on to someone,
it to your
and
friends,
they're like,
we
saw this ages ago, and I'm like, oh, okay. But if it's more than a minute long, my phone is turning.
Yeah, and I feel like it's really awkward to make content vertical. Like gaming is a classic example. Like it's for a content creator, it's really difficult to create a live stream experience that can support both, because like what you're trying to show just doesn't fit vertical. Most games are in a wide screen or like horizontal content. So it's like, well, how do I take this 1920 by 1080p view and make it now portrait and make it still like an engageable experience without it being like black screen bordered or something? So it's actually quite hard to do. If you're playing vertical games, and it's fine, but it's very rare, you know. So
the platform CapCut that is partnered with TikTok, people use for all these like templates and stuff. If you edit on CapCut a 16:9, or 9:16. I always get my ratios mixed up.
Chloe's
Anyway.
lagging.
Yeah, I was like, this way, landscape. If
I
you
just saw
edit
like the physical loading symbol going on. It's just like...
I always get my ratios wrong. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I take pretty pictures. Horizontal. If you edit something horizontal at the end of when you're exporting it, it's like generate TikTok version, and it will generate for you a portrait version of your video, just so it's ready to use.
Does it use an AI to do that though? Because
Yeah.
again, like what Paul said, is unfortunately with a lot of games and things like that, is by cutting it that way, you're going to lose a lot of key information. I guess it depends what it is that you're looking at it for. I think gameplay streams and things like that are slightly different than educational streams. Whereas the educational side of things, when people are watching it to learn something about it, they want to see the whole picture. Whereas if it's just like Fortnite or a game like that, I think that can work in more of a centered, especially like shooters as well, you know, like Valorant and things, the clips, because essentially what's going on is in the center of the screen anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third person, first person content works. So if you're doing like a open world, if you're playing my latest obsession, Throne of Liberty, great game, free to play, go download it. Free promotion. That kind of like solo experience. It's you're right. You can like chop the sidebars off because they're irrelevant for most viewers. But when you're playing like some of the other games that we cover, mobile games or anything like that has a lot of menus or interfaces, or you need to see a lot of things that's going on, it becomes a lot harder because like you're cutting off stuff that makes the whole content of makes it relevant, right? You can't just like selectively cut half of the team that you're using, because then they're like, well, I don't understand what's going on when someone just randomly appears and then vanishes again, and it's quite hard. But
ironically, you do raise a valid point
era
for that, actually, because over the past 5 years that we've been creating content, I can only think of 2 games which we've covered which have been vertical games. One which is Arc-Light Rumble, and the other one was that
Bloodlines Heroes of Lethus. They're both vertical, but most mobile. The thing is, it's kind of weird. Most mobile games, even though it's mobile games, is almost like if you're not on every other platform, you're just losing revenue and you're losing exposure. Like the gamer of 2024 is not someone who just plays on their phone or on their Xbox they want to play. Sometimes they want to be on their Xbox, sometimes they want to be on their PC, sometimes they're commuting, they want to be on their phone, and then they want to come back to their PC.
Wait, gamers leave the house?
Yes,
going on?
because
the new model of gamer.
Generally, gamers now that like our generation are grown up into mid-20s, 30s, have families, have kids, and lots of different things, but they're still gaming, but they're just gaming in a different way. And it used to be back in the 5 years ago, mobile games when they first came up, it's like, you only need to be on mobile, right? I'm playing it on mobile. But now it's almost like, well, if you don't have a presence in another platform, then you're missing out, which means that the vertical experience that you would get, like the old Candy Crush type of games or the old Bloodlines, like they don't really work on PC because PC and other platforms aren't vertical. So they end up naturally going, let's not make a vertical game, let's make horizontal so that we can make it cross-platform, because if we can make it cross-platform, the mobile gamer will have it, great. The PC gamer that doesn't like mobile games might give it a go because they don't realize it's a mobile game, and opens up more revenue. So it's kind of like the era of vertical gaming really is gone, but in the context of, well, with Valorant and these other games, you can make it vertical by basically effectively getting rid of the waste, right? You don't need the others.
And as someone who's just started out in YouTube, so I'm familiar with short form content. That's where I thrive. That's what I know about. I've just started out on YouTube, and because I know how to edit short form content, my shorts are doing way better than my videos themselves. I gained a substantial amount of subscribers in the past week because of the short I put out. It the views were 4 or 5 times the amount that the video that it was linked to or the video that the footage was from.
Awesome.
It's great, but I know how to edit that footage to zoom in on the bits of the screen that you would maybe cut out or an AI would cut out. It just takes a bit longer. That's the difference. So
yeah. Whereas I'm the complete opposite, where I don't do any short form content because I am terrible at it. Mainly because I create too much long form content because I stream way too many hours. and I forget where I should be actually like making those chapter points, those story moments, because that's the thing about short form content. If anyone watching this and is like, oh, how do I get into short form content? You kind of need to make like a story within a minute, right? You need to almost like back in the way I look at shorts, and Chloe will probably absolutely tell me whether I'm right or wrong here. But you almost like need to do what you used to do in school when you go in and you say, right, you need to write a little short novel or something. You've got to do a start, a middle, and an end.
Yes.
And you have to do that. So you need to like take the person in that 1 minute segment from somewhere to another. You can't just like go, I pulled something, right? That just doesn't work.
So the huge thing with short form content is hook, content, and then call to action. And this is why people like, say for instance, before we were talking about TikTok and how it's not an achievable platform to keep making money off this short form content. That's why they're making YouTube channels. That's why they do live streaming on TikTok to make that money, because those videos, they have to hook the content, the call to action, and the call to action will be YouTube channel, my live stream. Like they're pushing you in that direction, but that content brings you in. And like you say, it's that 3-step sort of content process.
And every time I'm live streaming, I keep going. I have these moments and I should make a milestone, a chapter point, and this I can make a short out of this, and then drive people back to the thing and drive more awareness. So it's
you need to get mods in the chat doing that for you.
But it's a challenge for a content creator generally who doesn't do like you can't, like, if you want to be successful these days, I feel like you can't be like one or the other anymore. You actually need to find the balance. You need to engage with like TikTok and like, I mean, I've never used TikTok in my life, but I feel like I have because people just repost the TikTok video into like Twitter and in other places. But I've never used it in my life, even like at all. I've never downloaded it. But you know, a lot of audience can be captured by them engaging with short form content and then click on the link and then going to your YouTube channel and they become a subscriber. Now they're a new viewer to your long form content, and that's where you make your money, right? When you start getting long form content and ad revenue that way. So it's a new era really for content creation. I would say over the last 18 months, more than anything else, it's really become more short form driven over the last 18 months as TikTok has come up and then YouTube has gone, we need to do something because we're getting our market share essentially is getting carved away to TikTok. So they've made their shorts and now they continue to evolve those shorts. I mean, they didn't even monetize shorts until about 2 years ago, a year ago.
The other thing is TikTok is like so close to dying in the US with all of these different things that keep happening with people suing them and politics and like so many things happening that the biggest users are, or the biggest creators are the US creators. So they're looking for other platforms to use to make this content that they're good at. They're great at short form content. They might not necessarily be good at long form content. So places like YouTube, like making it more accessible for them is like they're really tapping into that market that is coming to them. It's really nice. It's good to see.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely a valid point that, you know, YouTube's just recognizing that a lot of these people are probably going to be in a situation where they need to find a new place to, you know, have their content placed. So awesome. Okay, well, let's wrap up the podcast. You know, we've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes now, which it's been obviously interesting to discuss a lot of these topics. I think the goal moving forward is that this will be a weekly podcast that we'll be putting out. So if you have enjoyed listening, like, subscribe, all that stuff. You can also set to download on Spotify and Apple and all of those playlist providers. It will be out there. But yeah, just closing out. Has anyone got anything that they'd like to add? Just silence.
Just silence.
It's fine.
Well, you say something inappropriate.
Social battery is depleted.
Yeah, she's like, I'm done with you guys now. I need food.
I'm done. I need a week break and some food.
Sustenance, as they say.
Awesome.
Nice.
We'll see you in the next episode then.